In the rolling green countryside of Scotland, where the fields stretched endlessly and the air smelled of fresh earth, there lived a poor but hard-working farmer named Fleming. He was honest, toiling daily to provide for his family, with no expectation of wealth or fame. One day, as he was tending to his crops under the soft golden sun, he heard a distant, desperate cry for help. It was the cry of a child, sharp and panicked, echoing across the fields. His heart pounded as he dropped his tools and ran toward the sound. Following the cries, he arrived at a large, murky cesspit where a young boy was struggling for his life. The child had slipped and fallen into the deep, sticky mud, unable to climb out. Every movement dragged him further into the thick, suffocating filth. His tiny hands clawed at the edge. His face was filled with terror. Without hesitation, Fleming jumped into the pit, his strong hands grabbing the boy and pulling with all his might. The mud sucked at their bodies, threatening to tear them under, but the farmer refused to let go. With one final heave, he lifted the trembling child out of danger, covered in filth but alive. The boy coughed, gasping for air, his eyes wide with shock and gratitude. Fleming smiled gently and patted the child's back. "You're safe now, lad," he reassured him. The boy, though shaken, could only nod, too overwhelmed to speak. The next morning, as Fleming and his family were about to start their daily chores, they heard the sound of hooves approaching their humble cottage. Looking up, they saw a grand, elegant carriage stop in front of their small home. The horses were sleek, the carriage polished, and stepping down from it was a man whose very presence radiated authority. He was tall, well-dressed, and carried himself with the air of someone important. Approaching the farmer, he introduced himself. "I am Lord Randolph Churchill. You saved my son's life yesterday." His voice was filled with sincerity and gratitude. "I came to thank you and to offer a reward for your kindness," Lord Churchill said, pulling out a pouch of gold. "Please accept this." But Fleming, a man of strong principles, simply shook his head. "Sir, I did what any decent man would do. I cannot accept a reward for helping someone in need." Lord Churchill looked at him thoughtfully, then glanced at the small boy peeking from behind the door of the cottage, Fleming's son. The child's bright, curious eyes reminded him of his son. "Is that your son?" he asked. Fleming nodded, resting a hand on the boy's shoulder. "Yes, this is my son." Churchill bent down slightly, looking at the boy with interest. Then he made an offer that would change their lives forever. "If you will not accept money, then let me do something even greater. Let me take your son and give him a proper education. He will study in the best schools and learn from the best minds. If he is as noble-hearted as his father, he will grow up to be a man of great honor." Fleming hesitated. It was a big decision, letting his son leave for an unknown world. But deep inside, he knew this was an opportunity he could never give his child on his own. And so, with a deep breath, he agreed. Years passed. Fleming's son, Alexander Fleming, grew into a bright and dedicated young man. Under the best education money could provide, he studied medicine at St. Mary's Medical School in England. He worked tirelessly, driven by a deep sense of duty and curiosity. Then, one fateful day, after years of research and perseverance, he made a discovery that would change the course of human history. He found something that could fight deadly bacterial infections, a miraculous substance called penicillin. It was the world's first antibiotic, a medical breakthrough that would go on to save millions of lives. The circle of fate years later, another twist of fate occurred. The son of Lord Randolph Churchill, now a grown man, fell seriously ill. He had contracted pneumonia, a disease that at the time was often fatal. His condition worsened and the doctors struggled to save him. But this time there was hope. Penicillin, the very antibiotic discovered by the son of the farmer who had once saved his life. That young boy, now a powerful man, was Sir Winston Churchill, the future Prime Minister of Britain during World War II. and it was penicillin, discovered by Alexander Fleming, that saved his life. The lesson of kindness and fate. This story, whether legend or truth, teaches a powerful lesson. One simple act of kindness can set off a chain of events beyond imagination. Fleming, a poor Scottish farmer, never dreamed that saving a child's life would lead his son to greatness. Nor did he know that his son's work would one day save the boy he had once rescued. Kindness is not about seeking rewards, but about doing what is right. And sometimes the good we do for others comes back to us in ways we could never expect. Even the smallest act of goodness has the power to change the world. If you like the story, please subscribe.